Indeed, our relation goes beyond diplomacy. It is enriched by the strong historical and personal connections, including the legacy of President Robert Mugabe, whose time in Ghana and family ties further cemented the closeness between our people. The long-standing visa-free travel arrangement between our countries reflects the trust and fraternity that have defined our engagement over the decades. In recent years, we've taken deliberate steps to revitalize and deepen our cooperation. The General Cooperation Agreement signed in 2023 and the successful convening of the inaugural Permanent Joint Commission for Cooperation provides a strong foundation for advancing our partnership in practical and meaningful ways. Today's meeting comes at a critical time for our continent. As we advance the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area, there's an urgent need for African countries to strengthen intra-African trade, investment, and cooperation. Ghana, as the host of the African Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat, remains committed to promoting economic integration. In this regard, Ghana's strategic position within ECOWAS and Zimbabwe within SADC presents a unique opportunity to strengthen the linkages between the West and Southern Africa. Your Excellency, there are several priority areas we can deepen collaboration for mutual benefit. In the mining sector, both our countries are richly endowed with natural resources. We must work together to promote responsible mining practices and, importantly, enhance value addition and beneficiation so that Africa retains a greater share of the wealth that is derived from our natural resources. In agriculture, we recognize the importance of building resilient and modern systems. Zimbabwe's experience in irrigation and climate-smart agriculture offers valuable lessons for Ghana as we continue efforts to strengthen our food security and modernize our agricultural sector. Energy also remains central to our development ambitions. There is significant scope for cooperation in renewable energy and power infrastructure to support industrialization and economic transformation. Beyond these sectors, we must also deepen cooperation in education, in tourism, culture, and sports, areas that strengthen people-to-people connections and sustain long-term partnerships. I'm particularly encouraged by the discussions on potential tourism collaboration, linking destinations such as Cape Coast and Victoria Falls. This presents an opportunity to combine Ghana's rich historical heritage with Zimbabwe's globally renowned natural attractions. Equally important is the role of our private sectors. We must actively encourage business-to-business engagements to unlock the full economic potential of our partnerships, improving connectivity, including exploring direct air links between Accra and Harare. This will be essential to facilitating trade, tourism, and investment. I'm confident that our discussions today will allow us to review the progress we have made, address any challenges, and chart a clear and forward-looking path for our bilateral relations. Let me once again welcome you, my brother, to Ghana and your delegation. I look forward to productive and fruitful deliberations that will further strengthen the bonds between our two countries and advance our shared vision for Africa's development. I thank you.
Your Excellency and dear brother, John Mahama, President of the Republic of Ghana, Honorable Professor Jane Nana Opoku, the other name is difficult, Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Ghana, Honorable S.O. Ablankwa, Minister of Foreign Affairs, and International Trade of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Professor Amon Morira, distinguished ambassadors and senior government officials who are here, ladies and gentlemen, comrades and friends, it is my singular honor and privilege to pay a state visit to your beautiful and great country. I would like to thank you, Your Excellency, and dear brother, President Mahama, for the warm words of welcome and for the generous hospitality extended to me and my delegation since our arrival. Mahama, in Shona, it translates to something like a relative. So you become a relative. Your Excellency, Zimbabwe and Ghana enjoy excellent fraternal and historical relations which were forged during a period of the struggle for self-determination which swept across Africa following the independence of Ghana in 1957. It was here in Ghana where our founding father, the late President Comrade Robert Gabriel Mugabe, had his ideological consciousness sharpened and of course met his gracious wife, the late former Zimbabwe First Lady, Sally Mugabe. Zimbabwe is forever indebted to Ghana for being one of the first countries to provide the military training to liberation war cadres from 1964. The great nation of Ghana also availed moral, political, diplomatic and material support to liberation movements in Southern Africa and to Zimbabwe in particular. Our shared, rich, armed liberation war heritage laid firm foundation for the unbreakable bonds between our two republics. Guided by Pan-African ideals, mutual respect, as well as the quest for the total emancipation and prosperity of our people, our relations have grown from strength to strength. In the early 1980s, Zimbabwe received professionals from Ghana. We included specialist doctors, judges, pilots, university lecturers and teachers. Equally, many Zimbabweans came here for studies. Some stayed on to work here in Ghana and got married. Notable among the distinguished crop of Ghanaians who left an indelible mark on their professional and dedicated contribution to Zimbabwe are Judge Roger Kosa, who rose to be a judge of the Supreme Court of Zimbabwe. We also remember Ambassador Moses Debra, who helped establish our country's diplomatic architecture and provided valuable training in diplomacy and etiquette to foreign service officers for Zimbabwe. Commendation and a special mention is equally extended to Honorable Professor Jane Nana Opoku, his name, Ageyama, Ajeman, something like that, who served as the Chancellor of the Women's University in Africa, based in Harare, between 2018 and 2024. This was before her historic ascendancy as the first female Vice President of the Republic of Ghana. We thank all the Ghanaians who were part of the exciting development journey of our Republic, Zimbabwe, from its infancy. Your Excellency and dear brother, this state visit presents us with another golden opportunity to realize more deliverables as we march forward to a more prosperous future for our two countries and peoples. I wish to convey my hearty congratulations to Ghana for convening the inaugural session of the Zimbabwe-Ghana Joint Permanent Commission on Cooperation. The event has enabled us to reflect on our relations to date. We have been afforded a chance to explore our shared commitment to further strengthen and broaden our economic relations. I am pleased, my dear brother, that through our JPCC, we are pursuing ways to deepen cooperation in various sectors, which include energy, industrial cooperation and trade, labor and employment, tourism, archives and heritage, among others. In the education sector, Zimbabwean students have been receiving scholarships from your universities. We stand ready to share with Ghana the successes and achievements of our heritage-based education 5.0 philosophy, anchored on research, innovation, and industrialization. We look forward to scaling up synergies and collaboration between the Zimbabwe Foreign Service Institute and the Ghana Foreign Service Institute. In the health sector, the proposal to pursue manpower exchange programs for the deployment of medical professionals is a noble initiative. It is indeed critically important that we pool our strengths for improved access to affordable health delivery, innovation, and the local manufacturing of medicines and the medical supplies in our respective nations. Your Excellency and dear brother, ladies and gentlemen, let us take advantage of the opportunities created by the African Continental Free Trade Area to further boost cooperation across all key sectors of our economies. In mining, both Zimbabwe and Ghana have vast and rich mineral resources. It is incumbent upon us to consolidate knowledge sharing on new Afrocentric models for the sustainable extraction, value addition, and the price structures, among other issues, so that we derive maximum returns that benefit our people and economies. The importance of private sector collaboration cannot be overemphasized. The joint ventures to enhance best practices on environmental waste management are commendable. In the agriculture sector, projects driven by entities from our respective jurisdictions, which aim on improving food security through the introduction of resilient seed varieties for Ghana and the West African markets, deserve our support. In line with our mantra, Zimbabwe is open for business. We are committed to improve our bilateral trade. Our trade promotion entities are challenged to enlarge our cooperation and the business-to-business engagements with Ghana. Your Excellency and dear brother, tourism and people-to-people exchanges spurred by visa-free policies can spur further growth of this sector. We applaud Ghana for organizing the Trans-African Tourism and the Unity Campaign Initiative held in August last year. I'm informed that the historic 40,000 kilometer road expedition covered 39 African countries, including Zimbabwe. The outcome of that campaign is a reflection of what we can achieve together as the people of this great African continent. I say congratulations. Last year, the Forbes magazine named Zimbabwe the top global destination to visit in 2025. I'm aware that Ghana has been consistently nominated for top global tourism awards. So we are copying. It is in this context that we look forward to the twinning arrangement between the city of Victoria Falls and the city of Cape Coast of Ghana. We are still worried about the Victoria Falls. It's Mosi Otunya. That's the proper name. But when the British came, they had a girl called Queen Victoria. So they gave the name of this girl to this city. This colonialism. Zimbabwe welcomes collaboration with Ghana in the heritage sector, given our shared pan-African aspiration to preserve both the tangible and intangible heritage of our two nations. In March 2023, I dispatched my special envoy to deliver a message and invite Ghana to participate at the Museum of African Liberation project in Harare. We are on track to complete this ambitious project by 2027. The 1 acre of space offered to Ghana at the museum site will serve to tell the story of Ghana's historic contribution to the African liberation agenda and Pan-Africanism. Your acre is there, preserved for you. The importance of telling our own stories as Africans through our own lenses and narratives must continue to be emphasized. Your Excellency and dear brother, guided by our foreign policy thrust that Zimbabwe is a friend to all and an enemy to none, our country is bidding for a non-permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council for the 2027 to 2028 term. We thank Ghana for your continued support as we prepare to contribute to global peace and security. Allow me, my dear brother, to also express Zimbabwe's deep gratitude to Ghana for your steadfast support in calling for the unconditional removal of the unjust, illegal, unilateral sanctions imposed on us by some stupid Western countries for more than 2.5 decades. Despite the albatross of these illegal and inhuman sanctions, Zimbabwe remains resilient, scoring unprecedented development and economic milestones across all sectors, in spite of the sanctions. Your Excellency and my dear brother, may I commend you for Ghana's leadership in advancing historical justice, particularly through the recently adopted United Nations General Assembly resolution, which recognizes the transatlantic trafficking of enslaved Africans and the system of racialized enslavement as the gravest crime against humanity. Congratulations. This landmark initiative will undoubtedly advance historical justice and the global reparatory agenda. And I say again, congratulations, Ghana. Finally, Your Excellency, on the occasion of this historic state visit, may we seize the moment to reaffirm our shared commitment to development that promotes a higher quality of life for our people, as well as a future of peace, prosperity, and enduring friendship between Zimbabwe and Ghana. Our First Lady, Salim Gabe from Ghana, said if ever she dies, Ghana must make sure they send another sister. We are waiting. God bless you all. God bless Zimbabwe.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. President. We are appreciative of your very powerful opening statement. And I'll kick off the discussion.
Of the Kotoka International Airport. This was yesterday. The Zimbabwean president inspecting the guard of honor. The central band yesterday was the for the presidents will attract investors to develop the Equiapim range. And no wonder if you are climbing the range all the way down from Ayimensa, you see beautiful infrastructure being built. Now, down there is the swimming pool. That swimming pool, we understand, the architectural design was done to reflect the highway from the Ayimensa area to the Peduasi Lodge. And if you come here in the Peduasi Lodge, you would notice it's beautiful. It's a guest suite. Peduasi Lodge has a library. It has a theater complex. It is a 4-story building. It has outdoor and indoor recreational centers, which includes the swimming pool. So you would notice that the brain or the mindset which came, and it also has a beautiful mountain. Look at the tennis court way down there, and of course it's a place for presidential retreats. You can just imagine relaxing here in a cold evening, because this area is breezy, very cold, one of the coldest parts of the country because of the hilly nature of this enclave, and looking down the city, and all those dotted white spots there are buildings in Accra. And so Kwame Nkrumah, several decades ago, I'm making reference to 1959, for him to have had a vision to locate this spot to oversee Accra at a time when all the belts we see occupied by buildings were just forest belts or vegetations, would tell you how visionary or surgical Dr. Kwame Nkrumah is. And some of us have had the opportunity to walk through this facility, and it comes with the nostalgia, just the imagination of what would have been going through the mindset of people who have good will to develop this country. And I believe it is the standards that Ghanaians expect our leaders to set. Peduasi Lodge also comes with something historic. Initial gossip, the typical folklore suggests that it was built by market women, traders, as a gift for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, but his son Sekou Nkrumah has since tried to debunk that notion. Perhaps just a small facility that was dotted on the current location. But what we know is that the facility was built by a renowned architect. I will share the details of his name. He's Victor Adagbite. He was the architect who designed the Peduasi Lodge. And the Osborne Lake nature of the meandering road that goes down from Peduasi Lodge onto the toll booth area, which is Ayimensa, is what is reminiscent of the swimming pool here on the compound of Peduasi Lodge. So today the two countries are already in their bilateral talks. The conversations will center on energy cooperation, tourism and culture, which reflected in President Mahama's presentation in the opening remarks, agriculture, sports, recreation. When it comes to agriculture, His Excellency John Mahama made reference to Zimbabwe's vast experience in irrigation, which Ghana wants to tap into under the Feed Ghana initiative. Under the 24-hour economy, sanitation today, Jospon Group is here. The owner, Mr. Sian Ejapon, is here. He will be part of the bilateral agreement which will be signed. One will involve human capital, and that will be it. So that has been the story so far. What we also know from this 3-day state visit is that Zimbabwe is looking at sanitation management and environmental sustainability issues, and so the engagement with Jospon Group basically to tap into his experience. You know, Jospon Group is into waste management in a couple of African countries. Angola, we understand it's making inroads to Liberia, for example, and so they are interested in the cooperation at this level. When President Mahama spoke, he has consistently been referring many partners in Africa to the opportunities that come with the Africa continental free trade area, and with Ghana as the capital. He was talking about SADC, the Southern Africa Development Corporation, or countries within that belt, and ECOWAS leveraging. He was talking about business to business networking at this stage, and the high delegation that followed the Zimbabwean president, about 85 of them will be leveraging on this. In short, now was what happened yesterday at the Jubilee Lounge at the Accra International Airport, as His Excellency John Mahama led the Zimbabwean counterpart out of the building for him to retire to his hotel yesterday. And we are currently at the Peduase Lodge, where the bilateral meeting is taking place. I took a few notes from the presentation by His Excellency John Mahama and that of the Zimbabwean president. In there, before I bring you summary of what they have been saying, is the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Samuel Okudjota-Blakwa, is part of Ghana's delegation at the bilateral meeting. The Minister for Government Communications, Felix Kwachofosu, is also there. The Health Minister, Kobina Menta-Akando, is also in there. Dr. Valerie Sawyer, a senior presidential staffer, is also there. Joyce Bawa Muktari, special aide to the president and senior presidential staffer, is also there. The Trade Minister, Elizabeth Ofosu-Ejare, is also at the bilateral meeting. The Minister for Justice and Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayeni, is also there. And of course, Ablan Jifa Gomashi, the Minister for Tourism, is also at that meeting. When the Zimbabwean President, His Excellency Emmerson Mnangagwa, spoke in his opening remarks, among several other things, tracing the history between the two countries, the liberation struggle, Kwame Nkrumah's role in their struggle till they gained independence, and the mutual relations. He talked about several Ghanaians, medical doctors, judges, lawyers, lecturers in academia, technocrats who have since been working in Zimbabwe, helping to grow the economy. He also made reference to a lot of Zimbabweans who had the opportunity to attend school here in Ghana. So he has simply been talking about the good relations between the two countries since 1960. Again, he also commended the Vice President currently, Excellency Professor Jenano Pukwajima. So in your short recently, just a while ago, was that of Joyce Bawa Muktari, the Trade Minister and the Health Minister, who were at the talks when His Excellency Emmerson Mnangagwa was delivering his opening remarks. But he made reference to Professor Jenano Pukwajima when she was then Vice Chancellor of the Women University in Harare. Harare is the capital of Zimbabwe. And of course, he also said something that is very emotional and significant. He used the word stupid sanctions. I'm just paraphrasing what he said. He feels that the West has not been fair to Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe belongs to blacks. Zimbabwe has been owned by blacks. Zimbabwe was colonized for several decades, for hundreds of years, under colonial rule, then by the British, just like Ghanaians were also colonized by the British. Just recently, His Excellency John Mahama was at the UN General Assembly for the historic feat which black Africans are celebrating. During the struggle for land for survival, blacks forcibly took land back from the minority whites who had handed over power. Zimbabwe had secured independence, but economically they were not independent because much of the arable land, large scales or large tracts of this land, were owned by the whites who went to large scale plantations, maize, coffee, name them, and they were exporting many of these produce back to their country. The Zimbabweans felt that it was unfair. The majority of Zimbabweans were relegated to parts of Zimbabwe where rain-fed agriculture was not something they could depend on because of climate change issues. So since they took over their land forcibly, let's admit that it was very violent, which led to attacks on innocent whites. And since then, for over 20 years, many of these Western European countries have connived and have imposed heavy sanctions on Zimbabwe. So Zimbabwe, which used to be a thriving economy in the 80s, has since dropped to be one of the poorest countries on the continent. And I'm sure it is that bitterness that fed into his presentation that if the West will continue to impose sanctions on them, then sister country relations in all the areas of mutual interest will be significant. His Excellency John Mahama's speech basically focused on the areas of bilateral agreements or the memorandum of understanding that will be signed today. He talked about energy and energy cooperation. He talked about mining and responsible mining practices. Here in Ghana, we have been struggling with managing illegal mining, which was supposed to be some form of small-scale mining. This government has consistently been speaking about introducing community mining, responsible community mining, and pilots have already been started in some parts of the country, which was recently launched by the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. So Ghana hopes to share experiences with Zimbabwe in this area. He also talked about other key mineral resources that Ghana can add value to. He spoke about agriculture. And if you listen to His Excellency John Mahama's presentation, he talked about modernizing agriculture, mechanizing agriculture. And here he said Zimbabwe, which is known into large-scale irrigated farm projects, is something Ghana can leverage on. Again, he speaks about trade and human capital development and health sovereignty. In health, the Zimbabwean president spoke extensively about how access to health can be affordable to many of their citizens. So this morning here at the Pediasi Lodge, parties representing the two countries are in your shot. Dr. Callistus Mahama, the secretary to the president, sitting close to the president and sandwiched by the president and Dr. Valerie Sawyer. All these officials, senior officials of government, will be part of this historic engagement between the two countries. After this bilateral meeting, the president of Zimbabwe will proceed on a guided tour to the Accra Compost and Recycling Plant at Agen, Kotoku. This is a facility that was built by Jospon Group under Zoom Lion about 15 years ago. It is basically a center for the collection of all the waste in Accra. Accra generates tons of waste, and waste management sites had been a challenge. Adding value to waste was a challenge. So Jospon Group then, with the support of investors, built this Accra Compost and Recycling Plant as the last station to hold waste collected from many parts of Accra, where segregation is done. Plastics are put together for export into recycling products which are interested, and then the compost plant into adding value to some organic waste which is sold back to the market as fertilizers. So it's a prototype that Jospon Group has always been thinking of expanding to other parts of the